All right, we are going to talk about something new today, and that is IJK vector notation. Now, we've done vectors in the past, and I'll be honest, this is almost the same, but technically it's not, but I don't want to freak you out. So let's just go through what does it mean to have IJK notation, because in AP, that's what we actually use. So let's go old school. All right. So you guys, projectiles, remember that. So let's say we've got some vector here and it's got a value of 50 meters per second because, it's projectile. And we launched it at an angle of, say, 30 degrees, blah, blah. All right. So normally we would want in a projectile problem, we'd want to break it up into its X and Y components. Well, IJK is actually a lot like XYZ. So I is your X component, J is your Y component, and K is your Z component, which we pretty much never used before, but we'll use periodically in the AP setting. So we're going to go and make it look kind of like this. So here's your I, that's your J, and then K, which I suck at drawing, is into the page. All right, now you'll notice that they have these little hats on top of them, okay? That means that they are what's called a unit vector, okay? So unit vector. And all that means is that they are vectors that have a value of 1, all right? Vectors with value of 1. All right. So let's break this up into our normal x, y, z, and the x component and the y component, except we're going to transfer that into ijk. Except, like I said, there's no k here because we're just doing 2 dimensions to start with. So if I do that, then let's press some buttons, see if this works for me. You do the trig, and that's way fatter than I want it to be. I'm not happy. Let's try that. So this would be 43 effectively. And this, let's do a different color for that. This would be then 25 meters per second. Don't forget your units, Szymanski. Do better in life. Meters per second. All right, so if we're going to break this up and show this in IJK notation, what we're really going to do is we're going to say, okay, this vector is going to be represented in IJK notation as the following. So we'll just call this V, vector V. So then vector V is equal to 25 meters per second I, because it is 25 units of 1, plus 43 meters per second units of J. Again, it's 23 times 1, so it's basically that. So this is how we would show the vector notation to say in IJK notation instead of XYZ. And we're going to use this a whole bunch, so you're going to have to get used to it. I am so sorry. So let's do a little bit more with this, okay? Let's do a little bit of practice. So what does this look like if we were to say, I don't know, let's do some goofy math, okay? So let's just get some examples here. So let's scroll down, let's make some room. All right, so kind of clean the slate here. So let's grab 2 vectors. All right, so we'll have a purple one. School colors, school spirit, yay. All right, so let's say we've got vector A, and vector A is described as I plus 4j plus negative 3k. So really it'd be minus 3k, but I'm showing you some stuff. And then we've got vector B, green, sure, why not? All right, vector B, that's why I always have these little arrows over the top saying it's a vector. So let's say vector B is 4I minus 7j plus, I don't know, we'll go with 1k. Although it'd probably just be k. but whatever. Okay, so wow, it looks like the Joker, I guess I got going on here. Anyway, sorry, sidebar. If we're going to do simple math with this, we'll just add them together. Well, that's actually really straightforward because we're just going to use our math skills to just add these together. So you always add vectors, you never subtract them, all right, because the negative sign is actually just telling you you're going to subtract it. But subtraction is really a lie. There's no such thing as subtraction, just add negatives. So anyways, it's all addition. So you just kind of add straight down. So if I want to know what is the vector quantity of A plus B, then I'm just going to add straight down. So this would be 5i. And if I ever forget to put the hat, that's just because I'm lazy. You're not allowed to be lazy though, sorry. Minus 3j, and this would be minus 2k. All right, so that would be the sum of vectors a plus b. Now, if we wanted, we could draw this out. All right, so I'm going to just do a sketch here. It's not going to be pretty, but you know, you try in life. Because I got to go in 3 dimensions on a 2-dimensional world. Never good. I, J, K. They should have hats. I swear on the AP test, you just got to go back and double check, like, did I put a hat on everything? Because they'll dock you points for that. So just try and get good habits now. I don't have good habits. All right, so let's draw these out and then we'll see what it looks like. So let's take A, and A would be like, okay, I went over I, and then 4j, and then I gotta go into the page, or I guess out of the page because it'd be negative. So it'd be like going like this, and you're like, okay, so the vector is here. That's my vector. All right, so it goes from there to there. That's my vector. Then if I add the next one to it, I would technically start at the tail of the first vector, and I would say, okay, so I start here. So now I'm going to go 4i this way, and then negative 7j. So now I'm going down here, and then plus 1k, so I'm like in here. So now the total vector is from here, where you totally started, to where you totally ended. And I know this looks like garbage, and that's why we do the math. And so at the end of the day, if you said, okay, so what should it have looked like? Well, it should look like what we added up. So we should have 5i. Okay, well, 5i, cool. So then this length over here in the x-plane, this should be 5. And then negative 3j, all right, well, that works because we're down below, so then minus 3j. And then negative 2k, so we'd be into that plane, negative 2. And that's how that works. So that's why I usually just line them up and add them together instead of actually draw it out. But if you draw it out, it does make sense. It all works out. All right. So that's the fundamentals of IJK notation and how we're going to use vectors. They pretty much line up with x, y, z, but they have little hats on them because it's what's called a unit vector. All right. Hope that helped. Hope that made sense. Sorry for my bad drawings. I'll work on it. And I'll see you guys in class.